Yeah, we've had a lot of Easter things all week. I feel really good about the one that's going to happen today. But first, we need to celebrate an international day here across the land. It is International Whiskey Day. And if you are a whiskey drinker, this is your day. This morning, we have Kyle Brown here with us with Customshop. He is the bar manager there. And he's going to give us a quick lesson in whiskey and what we need to know. When we say feel smarter at parties, we want you to go in feeling confident. Kyle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Custom Shop is one of my favorite spots in the entire area. Love, love, love coming there for dinner. You have excellent cocktails as well. I have to start with, I don't know the difference between whiskey, bourbon, scotch. I don't know any, so walk me through that.
Okay, so basically whiskey is going to be the overarching term for like a grain-based alcohol that's aged in oak or wood.
Okay.
So it's made pretty much anywhere across the world, Scotland, Japan, Ireland, Canada, and then in the United States we make a ton of whiskey, but we also make something called bourbon. And so bourbon is basically the sub-classification of whiskey, and there's like a set of rules that, I don't know, guide its process throughout. And so
is a bourbon flavor very different than an overall just general whiskey?
Yeah, so everything kind of like every country has its own style. For bourbon, it's 51% corn is the first like rule of the road. It's got to be charred new oak barrels. It has to be made in the United States. It can't be distilled to above 160 proof, and then it can't be put into a barrel at more than 125.
Wow.
And then put into a bottle at no less than 80.
How is that in your brain, first of all?
Many practice. So it's something that, you know, is unique to the United States. The corn definitely plays a big factor in what we do. It adds like a little bit of a natural sweetness to everything. So those are kind of just the guidelines of basically everything is built around for bourbon. And then there's also rye whiskeys. There's Tennessee sour mash. There's all these different types of whiskey in the United States, but predominantly we focus on bourbon production.
Okay, when we're going into the store to buy whiskey, you say there are different things we need to be looking for depending on what we're buying for, right? If we're buying for just, you know, having a quick cocktail, there's one thing we need to be looking for. If we're buying for something for a gift, you want a little more high end. So kind of walk me through what we should look for when we're buying.
Yeah, so I always break it down into 3 categories: everyday consumption, a weekend pour, and something that's special occasion.
Okay.
My everyday consumption is something like Jim Beam or Elijah Craig. Those are in that like mid 20 to low 30 price points.
So this is a version of that?
I would say, yeah, Elijah Craig. If we were to go into like a weekend pour, this is our private barrel Maker's Mark that we did a couple months ago. So there's still some bottles of that floating around at the Cherry Street location at the ABC store. And then if we were lucky enough, this Weller Craft Your Perfect barrel or the E.H. Taylor, those are some more allocated products. Yeah, this will be the Taylor right here. There's some more allocated products.
They're fancy.
They're definitely fancier, harder to get. They kind of come out in particular times of the year. You only see 1 or 2 bottles at a time.
Yeah.
And it's more about like an establishing a relationship at like your local ABC store.
So that they like.
So that they like know that you're like on the hunt for something, and you kind of just, I just annoy them until it shows up, and then they're like, well, we're going to give this to this guy so he stops bothering us.
Ballpark a really, like a bottle like this, how much is that going to cost?
So we're actually lucky enough in North Carolina to be an ABC state, so we would buy it for the MSRP price at around maybe $130, and then if we were going into the aftermarket, we're probably looking at somewhere closer to like $500-600.
Oh, that gives me agita. Okay, we have about a minute left. If we had to taste one today, which one would we taste?
Well, I mean, I'm always going to pick our Maker's Mark.
Yes. So this is sort of the weekend pour, you said.
Yeah, I'd classify this weekend pour. It is a higher proof than normal Maker's Mark.
Okay.
Maker's Mark's known for like their like red winter wheat that they use. So this will have a little bit more like fruit to it than normal.
It smells really good.
It also have like a natural kind of sweetness on the front. And so at work we use this like in our old fashioned, which is predominantly what we make. So yeah, we'll give it a little try.
I tend to like the way whiskey smells more than it tastes.
Well, hopefully you like that.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it has like a natural sweetness to it that makes it like a little bit more approachable.
That's pretty good. While we put the information up on the screen for Custom Shop and everything you guys do over there, I want you to just really quickly tell me, if we're pairing whiskey with food, what kinds of food are we pairing it with? Is it like just a steak?
Anything that kind of comes off the grill and is going to lend itself to have a more smoky flavor to it, I would say, just because the barrel itself is charred, and so those are going to be a natural component. We at work sell a lot of flan with whiskey.
Really?
For its natural like sweetness, because the corn is going to be a little bit sweeter. So anything sweet, little caramel notes that you get picking up whiskeys.
Okay.
Anything with coffee too.
Now well, we're going to be making some coffee syrups over there, so maybe I'll just set this aside and put it in my coffee.
It sounds like a good idea.
Kyle, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Of course, Custom Shop is delicious. Mary, now do you feel smarter for the next party?
I feel smarter, and I see your
good job, man.
spinning over there.
I know.
Great job.